G'day everyone, and thanks for joining me on this video. So one of the things that I get asked as a songwriter and as a composer are what are some of the tools that I use to help me write songs, to help me get my ideas out and into the real world. So I thought I'd make a quick video on the top 5 things that I use to help me write songs. Let's get into it. Number 1, pen and paper. I know it sounds totally old school, but you cannot go past pen and paper to get your ideas out. So I often use blank sheet music, so blank staves to get my notes out. And it doesn't matter if I'm just writing lyrics or writing actual dots on here. Having a pen and paper at my desk ready to go really does help me just start getting those ideas out, which is a great thing to have. Now, you may prefer a Word document, and I know a lot of people do use Word documents, and I have done so in the past. The great thing about a Word document or a Pages document or just a blank text file, whatever you want to use, is that particularly if you're quick at typing, you can really speed those ideas out of your head. If they're really coming thick and fast, just typing them out and getting them onto the screen is a really quick way of getting that visual that you often need. Either way, having a pen and paper or having a blank document open ready to go is my first go-to. Number 2, voice recorder. A voice recorder is pretty much on every single smartphone that there is. So you don't have to race out and buy your own specifically designed voice recorder. Of course you can if you want to, but I just use my phone to quickly get those ideas out of my head and into the real world just by singing them. On an iPhone, I use the voice recorder. It's really simple. If I'm nearby an instrument, I'll grab that instrument, open up the voice recorder, hit record, and quickly get out the idea. And that leads me to number 3. Number 3 is an instrument. Having an instrument nearby for me is like my immediate go-to. If I need to start writing or start composing, I will grab a guitar perhaps, or I'll grab my first instrument, which is piano, which is what I've got here, and sit down and start to write. For me, it is just a natural thing to go to. I've been playing piano since I was 4 years old, so it's a very natural instrument to sit down and just start fumbling my way around, trying to find the mood to go for, whatever that might be. Of course, if you don't play an instrument, that doesn't mean that you can't write songs. If you can hum or you can whistle, you can write a song. The famous composer Irving Berlin had a special piano made for him so that he could hand crank into different keys because he particularly liked writing with the black keys on the piano. As a self-taught pianist, he needed a piano that could be transposed into any key. So whether you're an accomplished musician or just like to whistle, whatever your choice of instrument, I think it's important that you know what that is and that you can go to it. For me, it's piano, sometimes it's guitar. Now this one may be a little controversial, but I do have a rhyming dictionary with me when I'm composing lyrics for a show. Something like as simple as this. This is an old one that Random House put out. And yes, it's very small and there's not a lot to it, but you can use that. Another website I use is Rhyme Zone, and it's a resource that I find really freeing, particularly when I'm struggling to find the right word for what I want to put into the lyrics. It also helps me discover new words that I hadn't thought of, and new ways of articulating what I want the character to say in my song. Number 5, a recording setup. Now, this is getting a little bit technical, but as I said, it's my top 5 that I tend to use. And for me, a recording setup is my go-to. Now, I use Logic Pro X. I love Logic Pro. I find it really easy to use, but there are heaps of what we call digital audio workstations, or DAWs, out there. Some are free, some you have to pay for. If you're an Apple user, GarageBand is a great way to begin. And there are heaps of Windows alternatives as well, such as Studio One by Presonus, there's Cubase, there's Ableton Live, Pro Tools. You can even just use something as simple as Audacity. By the way, I highly recommend Audacity. It's a great free program, particularly for audio editing. I love using it. So for me, I use Logic Pro, and it helps me to get my musical ideas that are in my head. The drums, the bass, the guitar, the strings, the arrangement, the melodies out, so that I can sort of let my fingers do the walking, as the case may be. So there you go. There's my top 5 tools that I use to help me get my musical ideas from here into the real world. I hope it's helped some of you guys out there. Please remember to subscribe and like this video, and leave your comments below and let me know what you use to help get your ideas out of your head and into the real world. Cheers, guys, and see you next time.